So we've been talking about using a scorecard, 5 high priority objectives you want to achieve in year one, stated in such a way that they reflect or represent stretch goals for the person who takes up this position. That's great. Now, I didn't say anything about who is involved in creating your scorecard, and I wasn't going to until something happened the other day that made me think this is too big a mistake not to mention. So let me explain by way of example, okay? A U.S. company I know of, not a client, but a U.S. company formed a committee to hire an HSE manager in China. Altogether, they involved 7 executives, 3 in China, 3 in the U.S., and 1 drive-by global consultant, famous for tossing grenades into hiring projects and then leaving, never to be heard from again. Why do companies do this? Why do they think they need so many cooks in the kitchen? And how could they imagine they could get success or a good hiring decision out of that process? Well, one good reason is habit. In the candidate-rich environment in the US, and this was a US company, remember, 90% of your focus goes into avoiding one type of costly hiring mistake, and that is hiring the wrong person. I would argue in China, a candidate-scarce environment, that needs to be stood on its head. 90% of your focus has to go into hiring the right person, and 10% has to be allocated to not hiring the wrong person. Okay, so back to my original question. What's the costly mistake? Too many decision makers, okay? You've got to keep the number of decision makers to a minimum, 1, 2, maximum 3. You don't need more than that. These are the people who will help you create your scorecard, assign weights to it, interview candidates, give you feedback on them. One of the 3 of you, if you use 3 people, gets to be the primary decision maker, the guy who pushes the button, negotiates the offer with a candidate, who makes the ultimate selection decision, and then signs the candidate. You really don't need more than that. Listen, the reason companies get into having 6 or 8 decision makers involved in this process is because they have poor processes that produce even poorer results, or poorer choices, I should say. And the blame for those poorer choices has to get spread around. You don't need that. This process, I guarantee you, because I use it every day, this process will give you fantastic choices, winners versus winners to compare. So you don't need excuses for poor decisions. All right? One final word. Do everything in your power to keep your search process simple and clean. Strictly limiting the number of decision makers is one very effective way to do that. Okay, so that's my point. I'll see you next time.